Another another important intervention to combat HIV and hepatitis C is needle exchange programs in the community, very widespread. Even in Germany, we have 180 automates accessible 24/7 in approximately 120 cities. So you can get at each and any time your package with clean needles. In prison, it's a different story, and I will tell you about the problems surrounding this intervention. The needle and syringe programs are available only in 4 countries, which we looked at. It's Germany, Luxembourg, Romania, and Spain. And a good coverage is only available in Luxembourg and Spain. They are the champions in Europe. Luxembourg at that time only had 1 prison, so it was the one where the needle exchange took place. But Spain was very busy in implementing needle and syringe programs throughout the whole country. And Germany, out of 180 prisons, only 1 prison is offering needle and syringe programs. It's a women's prison in Berlin and Lichtenberg. And there several automates are accessible for the female prisoners, and they can take out the syringes by giving their used one and can get out a new one, sterile one, and can take it for injection. We did a meta study on the evaluation of prison-based needle and syringe programs a long time ago, 2003, when most of the countries we just saw introduced needle and syringe programs. And the scientific evaluations conducted in 11 prisons with syringe and distribution programs issued their results, and some of the key results were that first, the provision of syringes did not lead to an increase in drug consumption or an increase in injecting. Syringes were not used as weapons, and safe disposal of used needles was not a problem. Syringe sharing disappeared almost completely. And in prisons where blood testing was performed, no new cases of HIV or hepatitis infections were found. So these were very encouraging results from the evaluations we studied and analyzed, where in 11 prisons pilot projects of needle and syringe programs had been conducted. And despite these encouraging results, the spread was very modest and very confined to 9 countries. I just presented 4 of them in the EU, but worldwide we've got 9 countries. On top of them, Canada and Kyrgyzstan, for instance, Switzerland, which was not in our scope. And all in all, it's about 60 prisons worldwide who provide needle and syringe programs. I give you the link to this UNODC handbook. It is written some 8 years ago, and it's giving you an overview of how to implement, how to introduce a needle and syringe program in prisons. And with all the necessary requirements, it's a very good handbook. On the one hand, so the UN level is recommending needle and syringe programs. And on the other hand, on the ground, the needle and syringe programs did not come very far. The coverage rate is extremely poor, and you see that here in the only 9 countries worldwide. Also, my question, where have we got from here? 20 years of prison needle exchange. We see in terms of quantity, there's only a little increase in the number of prison-based needle and syringe programs. The number of clients is decreasing. This is due to a decrease in the consumption of injectable opioids. Other drugs have replaced opioids partly. The coverage of these pilots or of these programs is poor and patchy. And these results are independent from the responsibility of prison healthcare, whether the Ministry of Justice or the Ministry of Interior or the Ministry of Health is having the responsibility for prison-based healthcare. That doesn't matter. The results are more or less the same. In terms of quality, we see that in the setting of a prison, confidentiality remains still the key problem. So you see, like I saw that in Spain in a prison, there patients go through the door to the OST program. Next door, they will go to the syringe and needle program. So still at that very open-minded situation, confidentiality plays a major role, not to be seen or identified as a drug user in prison. The access is often arbitrary. We saw that in Luxembourg years ago, where, let's say, nurses decided who was included into a project or not. Now in Luxembourg, I would say it's one of the best systems I ever saw. The perception of drug use is important. Either you see it as a criminal behavior, or you see it as an health issue. It remains important of how to see it, from which angle you would come. And a continuous work on the program is needed. So they're not running by themselves. You have to work on them. You can see that in the handbook, how this needs to be updated all the time, and where the success needs to be consolidated and to get away from just a pilot project. And very important, HIV and AIDS is no longer the driver of the implementation, as it was at the end of the 90s or even the end of the 80s of the last century. There, the HIV and AIDS were the main drivers for implementing that. Hepatitis C has never had that momentum as HIV had at that time, and so hepatitis C does not serve as the main runner, the main driver of the necessity to implement a needle and syringe program.